Feel like you're living the same life over and over again and nothing seems to change no matter how hard you try? As a psychic with over 9,000 readings, one of the most frequently asked questions to me by my clients is, Vaishali, when will blank happen? And you can insert your most pressing question in the blank. So I wanted to share with you the 10 most common mistakes people make that keeps them living the same life over and over again. I'll also reveal what each mistake leads to, how to correct each mistake, and how each correction affects the outcome. So let's get started. Mistake number 1, making a lot of resolutions. The excitement of a new year coming in leads people to make a lot of resolutions, but sometimes the resolutions are really big or there's a huge gap between where they are and where they want to go, and what happens is they end up quitting the resolutions within a week or two. A better way is to take a big resolution and chunk it down into a smaller piece that is attainable every day, every week, or every month. This way, you can track changes, measure what gets done, and make adjustments before moving to the next piece of the puzzle instead of quitting on the resolution. But trying to do too much at once isn't exclusive to the new year. Another biggest thing I see leads me to mistake number 2, introducing too many changes at once. Sometimes people get a sudden wake-up call which is triggered by an external event. So what happens is they introduce a lot of changes at once. Your brain then gets overwhelmed and it just decides to quit on everything because it just cannot manage doing all the things. Instead, make small incremental changes, make these changes a habit, and layer on additional changes so that you don't get overwhelmed. This way, you can create a habit for a small change first and then keep going instead of quitting. And one small habit I would recommend that you start working on is going to solve mistake number 3, which is not meeting new people. Most people who feel like nothing is changing in their life aren't really meeting new people. This leads to stagnation and lack of anything new, significant, or eventful from happening in their life. Make a point to get out of your comfort zone and meet new people. Look back in your past and see how many significant life shifts were associated with meeting new people. While meeting new people can change your environment, there is one other mistake you need to avoid, which leads me to mistake number 4, not learning anything new. People don't like to read books because it's too boring and time consuming. Not gaining new knowledge makes you feel bored and keeps you stuck in the same place for any problem that you are trying to solve. The easiest way to correct this mistake is to either read books or listen to them on Audible or watch YouTube videos or podcasts instead of doom scrolling. Knowledge exposes you to new ideas and beliefs that you were initially ignorant of and sparks new ways of thinking and new solutions to problems. Just learning something new is not enough, however. Taking action can lead you to avoid one of the biggest mistakes I see people making, which leads me to mistake number 5, waiting for something to happen. When I transitioned from an engineer to a psychic, I was surprised to see that the most frequently asked question to me was, when will blank happen? Some people believe that there is a divine timing to everything, where God is literally going to knock on your door and deliver the goods without you taking any action. While divine timing is definitely a concept, if you take action, you will lighten the load of the universe and make it easier for the universe to deliver the goods to you. This way, you are no longer waiting for something to happen, but literally co-creating with the universe. Go ahead and comment below if you are making any of these mistakes and how you plan to correct them. While taking action can definitely move you forward, there is one mistake you need to correct before you start taking action, which leads me to mistake number 6, not reflecting on what went wrong in the past. People feel that they are too busy to see what happened in the past when they were in a similar situation. This leads to them repeating the same mistake over and over again. It only takes a few minutes to replay a past scenario, see what mistakes you made, and avoid repeating a past mistake by ruling out certain possibilities so that you can look for different ways to make things work. This way, your life won't feel like you're living the same life or the same year over and over again with just the number changing. While reflecting how things played out in the past is good, unless you find a new way to do things, you will be making mistake number 7, which is not trying a new way to do things. A lot of people get comfortable where they are, cruising along and getting complacent. It leads them to trying to solve the same problem unconsciously in the same manner over and over again. A fun way to correct the situation is to ask yourself this question: what would blank do? And in the place of blank, you can introduce your favorite TV character, your friend, or somebody else that you admire. Doing it this way will lead you to learning a new skill and solving the problem in a different way than you've had before. Trying new things always comes in with a mix of emotions. But trying new things may be just barely scratching the surface. You may be making the next mistake, which is mistake number 8, not giving anything enough reps. Most people who find that life seldom changes are not giving any outcome to come through by working for it. They'll either work on it for a short time or want a quick fix and throw their hands up in the air if they don't see any result. Things rarely work in the first attempt. Most of the times you have to give it enough reps. As an example, think of losing 20 pounds by hopping on a treadmill for 5 minutes. Most likely you are hallucinating, or maybe not. One good way to solve a problem is to give it enough reps and create momentum in whatever it is that you are doing. If you're giving something a lot of reps and yet nothing seems to move, then you may be making the next mistake, which is mistake number 9, not letting your intuition guide your way. Most people are used to using logic to solve a problem, yet logic can only take you so far. Working with logic means you have to keep digging out more and more information until you get overwhelmed and perhaps overloaded. An easier way is to work with your intuition, and you will find that the solution came in a way that you were least expecting. However, you have to flex your intuitive muscles in order to develop them. One place where you can best exercise your intuitive muscles is when you go to parties or networking events where you may end up making the next mistake, which is mistake number 10, no plan when going to a party or a networking event. Most people who go to parties or networking events are only half present. Either that or they choose to hang out with their friends because it makes them feel comfortable. Instead, if you meet new people when you go to a party or an event, then you'll find that newness introduces change and a range of new possibilities. If you reflect back on your life, go and see how many major changes or shifts were associated with meeting a new person at a party or an event. Now that you know the 10 major mistakes people make, which leads them to living the same life over and over again, how do you know which groups to interact with at parties or events to make the most out of it? That is the subject of my next video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!